Hello again everybody, welcome back to LilyLuLou. If it's your first time visiting, my name's Karen, I'm the Junk Journal Geek, and I'm cracking on with my St Patrick's Day journals. While you have not been here, I've got the covers prepared, so I've made two, sorry there's bits everywhere here, two hardback covers covered in fabric. This is cotton and it's, can't think of the word at the moment, but it will come back to me. And then I've cut the papers. That's going to be the spine in each one. Let's open this one that's actually under the camera, shall we? That's going to be the spine in each one, and then this is going to be the inside covers, like that. This paper's a tiny bit, it has a tiny bit of a sheen on it, so it's not really showing the correct colour on camera, but it is dark green. And then I want to do my toppers, so I've cut a piece of junk mail, the sort of size I want the toppers to be, and they're going to be my bases. And I think before I sew the signatures in and stick the inside bits down, because I'm going with this, you know, thread of gold all the way through, I thought I might pop a little bit of this. Let's do the side that you can see. So my desk is such a mess. I used to work on the dining room table, which sits 8 people comfortably, and that wasn't big enough, so I'm really struggling with this little desk. So I thought I might have that tucked in there like that, so that when the book's closed, that will poke out on each side. I've also, I think while you weren't here, I've got my toppers sort of arranged how I want them. I've gone through and sewn some tabs onto the edges of the pages. So that's one journal and that's another journal. And then I made a load of these. These are my flower button embellishments that I like to make. So this is, I'll show you what I've done. I've got some more here. I thought he needed a little something extra on his hat. So in here, what these are, I just punched out some flower shapes from, you know, my print. If you've been here before, you'll know my printer went loopy and printed 20 copies of one of the sheets of tags. And there was 3 tags on each sheet, and with the best will in the world, even making 2 journals, I am not going to want 60 tags. So one of those sheets, I cut out all these little flower shapes with my flower punch, and then with my 1-inch circle punch, I cut out some of that gold foil that I had, and I've popped that in the middle of the flower and then sewn a button on top of all of that. If you've been here for a while, you'll have seen these quite a few times before, I would imagine. I usually make them with two layers like of book page and coloured page, and then sew a button on. But this time I've done this. So I've got lots of these left over to use as embellishments throughout the book if I want to. So I've got those in there. Let's pop some of this stuff out of the way. Oh, there's another flower there. That's my glue page. Let's pop all this extra stuff on the settee out of the way. I'll leave my box there in case I need anything out of that. So that's where we're going today. So how are you all? I hope you're all well and happy. So these are just, this is a flyer that's come through the door. I've cut it in half, and that's, you know, about the right size for my journal toppers. So that's what we're going to do in a moment. But first of all, I think I'm going to stick this gold trim on so that that can be drying. And I'm going to use art glitter glue for that. I'm so sorry, my voice is going funny again today. I don't know why it is. Every time I turn the camera on, I go croaky. My daughter has been in bed for about, my youngest daughter, she's been in bed for about 4 days with a cold. But I mean, it's been a streaming cold. So I suppose I could be fighting that. But I don't feel like I've got a cold. I don't feel poorly at all. Feeling fine. So I don't know what the funny voice is all about, but there you go. Right, so I'm going to want 4 lengths of this. Just cut them roughly the size I need them. I love this trim. It's absolutely beautiful. This trim comes from Beebeecrafts. They very kindly sent me some products to try. I will link everything in the description box below so that you can find it for yourself if you so wish. Now, the only trouble is with this, I have trouble working out which side is the right side. I think this is the wrong side. So that's the side I'm going to put the glue on. And again, when I used this last time, I did the same thing. I'm just going to put the glue on the more solid part. And this is going to be sandwiched because obviously I will be popping the inside covers on over the top of this, so hopefully it will all be fine. So I want that just so there's a little bit of something poking out the side. And it is a shame that I'm going to be hiding a lot of this, but actually I could have probably cut it in half, but then I wouldn't have the more solid part to glue down. But then as it's going to be sandwiched, that doesn't really matter, does it? Maybe I'll do that on these ones. Maybe I'll try. Let's try one, cut it in half and see what happens. And then we've got some more bits to use for other things. So if I go along here, I did want to try and stick some of this on my toppers as well, so maybe cutting it down like this will give me some little bits I can play with. Now, is that going to be enough to work? Let me slide this over so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. Pop that other cover out the way for a moment. That's the right side. Is that going to, where's my inside piece? Is that going to be wide enough? How's that going to look? It looks all right, doesn't it? It looks quite pretty. Okay, we'll try with the half and see what happens. I mean, at least if it doesn't stick, because it's, you know, not got enough stuff, I can always take it off and stick a bigger piece on, because, you know, I haven't put the inside covers in yet. So, right, how much did I have sticking out that side? It was about there. Okay, let's just run a line of glue down here. And see, how much did I have sticking out? About there. Oh, I've probably not put that in the right place. Let's drag the glue up as we stick this down. Might have to just pop under here and add a bit more glue. I hope that's going to stick. How far up is this going to come in? It should be okay. Right, I'm going to leave that bit to dry. Let's just, should we just see how it's going to look? I don't know which of these insides is going to go in which of these covers, but it doesn't really matter. So that's how it's going to look. Let's turn it that way. Once it's finished. So I quite like that. A little bit of bling there sticking out. So I'm not shutting the book properly, obviously, because the glue's not dry and I don't want to stick my pages to the inside. So let's just pop that one over there, and let's do the same with this one. Trying to keep my bits together so that I'm a little bit organised. Right, so shall we go with the half again? I think it was okay. Should really have my fabric scissors out for this. Very naughty. It's a very, very wet and gloomy day here today. It's really dark, so I have my light on. So I hope it's not too shadowy. But yeah, it's horrible. More flooding. Right, so the trick is to have enough on there to glue that is going to stick under the inside cover, but obviously with still enough poking out. That should be okay there. So I don't think that's very straight, but looks okay from that side. Put some over these, and then let's do this side. So we'll trim this one again. This is definitely the wrong side. I can see that one straight away. So save that bit, and I want the right side this way, so it's facing outside on this one. So what I should do, because I've done that, is just like that there, so I know which way the lace is going. Right, so let's get this. Do you know what? I've realised how often I say "so" in my videos. It must be so annoying. So annoying. I do apologise. So I do apologise. What's an awful habit? I'm going to have to watch that. I wonder if I can snap myself out of that. Talking of habits, I've been very good. I'm trying to lose a bit of weight before my daughter's wedding, and I have been doing a little, because it's so flooded everywhere here, I've not been walking Max for as far as I used to. It started off when I was ill in December. I didn't take him out at all, but I mean he was still getting walked, but not by me, and I take him on long walks. I did take him on long walks, and then even when I got better, with all the flooding everywhere, as soon as I go out of my house, I'm getting drowned by the cars going past. And then the fields where I take him for his run, well, the walks I do are all over fields, and it's so slippery. I'm just either falling over or my boots are getting stuck in the mud and literally coming off my feet. So when I take him out, we're not out for very long, we don't go very far, and I've put on a little bit of weight. And where have I put my, oh there I are, sorry, yeah, I've put on a little bit of weight, and I've ordered another dress for the wedding. That is, I think it's going to be a little bit on the small side, but I really like it. So I've already got the other dress I was telling you about the other day, the sparkly one, but this is like a midnight green, midnight? That's not the word. Really dark green anyway. And it's long still, so I can still wear my flat shoes. And so it's dark green, one-shouldered, which is flattering for me because I have quite a big bust. And so I've gone for it on the assumption that I will slim into it. It's not here yet, so when it comes it might not be as bad as I thought. I have an outfit that is very similar actually, but it's a jumpsuit, and I asked the lady to measure this dress, and when she sent me the measurements I thought, blimey, that's going to be a job getting into that. But then I measured this jumpsuit that I have that's a similar style. It sounds funny because jumpsuit and dress, but the jumpsuit is, it's got like a skirt over the top of the legs, so it looks like a long dress. It's like an evening jumpsuit, evening wear. Yeah, so I tried that jumpsuit on to see if it still fitted me, because I haven't worn it for quite a while, and it does. And when I measured the jumpsuit, the measurements are very similar to the dress. So I'm hoping that the dress won't be far off. But I mean, I do need to lose a bit of weight anyway, just for health reasons, because as I say, I've put on a little bit of weight over the last few months. So don't want it to be, you know, and as you get older, it's easy to, it creeps on without you realising, and then it's difficult to do something about it, isn't it? So I'm covering, I actually meant to cover this side because it was lighter and I thought it might show through, but it looks like it's okay. I'm going to cut these out, and I may stitch around these when I've finished, and I may put them under the guillotine to tidy up the edges, because we all know my scissor skills are not great. There seems to be a lot more to think about with weddings these days than when I got married. so they're my backgrounds. Put that out of the way for a minute. I don't know if these are big enough for what I had in mind with my layouts, but I needed these so that I could see. So on one, I thought I'd have this little chap, and I wanted these, I wanted the word luck around him. But as I say, I don't think, yeah, you're not going to be able to see what it actually says. That's a shame. Could bring him a bit further down. Well, if these are not going to fit, the other layout's definitely not going to fit. And I thought I was going to be so organised and not make you watch me faff. Although we could have the luck going off the edge of the base, couldn't we? Sort of like that. That might be all right. I hope I'm in screen. I'm sorry if I'm not. I can't actually see what I'm doing here. That might be okay. As long as we're not going off the edge of the actual book cover. So let's just grab one in to see. If I grab the first one I did, that will be a little bit drier. Let's try not to stick anything to it. Pop that up there, Karen, out the way. You little people. Right, let's see how this will look. Oh, I think that's all right. And then I've got this, where is it? In my box. I've got this green ribbon that's going to be the closure. Somehow. Oh, I think that's fine. I think that works okay. So let's crack. Oh, the only trouble is I'm not going to be able to guillotine those edges, am I? So let's pop that back there to finish drying. And that edge looks very wonky, but if I ink everything, it will blend in with the background, so I think it will be all right. Let me just double check. Now, are my letters going to be sturdy enough? I think they'll be all right. I cut this base bit on the guillotine so I know it's square. So I'm trying to trim my paper. Right, I think that will do. So, do I want to stitch around that first? I think I will. So I'll just pop you on pause. And I'll go and stitch around both of these. And then I'll come back and we'll stick this one. And we'll see how I'm going to make the other one work, because what I had laid out is going to be too big for this background, so we might have to have a rethink. So if you don't like faff, you might not want to watch that bit. I'm being very quiet because hubby's in bed because he's on nights, so I'm trying not to make a lot of noise. Right, I'll be back in a second. Well, it turns out that we will not be stitching around the edges, because that gold thread that I told you that I wanted to use throughout the journal, I have managed to use it like to sew the tabs on, and the stitching I've done by hand I've used it, but it's my machine really doesn't like it. It's very temperamental. It took me a lot to get the tabs sewn on, but this, it just really is not having it. I've stopped and rethreaded my machine 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and I've given up. So it just keeps breaking. Probably need to sort the tension out or something, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I haven't got time for that. So we will not be having gold stitching around the edge, and I will have to now find something else to use as the base for my topper for my other journal, but we'll get on with this one. So maybe that's a good thing, because I can find something a little bit bigger that might fit my little people that I want to use. So I'm just as you can see, inking all these bits that I'm going to put on the front. I was telling you about my new habit, and then I got sidetracked and started talking about going for walks with Max. So yes, the reason why I've needed my new habit is because I haven't been walking Max properly. I mean, he's all right. He still gets his lovely long walks with his ladies. So I've been getting up every morning, and while everybody's still in bed, I've been doing a walking workout. That bit you're not going to see because I want to hide that under the sea. Yeah, I've been doing a walking workout on YouTube. I am so unfit. I'm very embarrassed to say that I actually trained and qualified as a fitness instructor and sports therapist in my 20s. I don't know what possessed me, actually. I've never liked exercising. I had my own studio. I ran weight loss classes. I really enjoyed it actually at the time, but yeah, you wouldn't know it now to look at me. I think obviously where I've cut these letters out, they were on the edges of the tags, so I'm probably going to cut out some more shamrocks or something from elsewhere and add them on where I need to disguise the fact that some of these have straight edges, which is not very realistic, is it? Not that gnomes are very realistic, are they? Or who knows, maybe they are. Maybe gnomes look exactly like that. I don't know, I've never actually seen a gnome in real life. Or a leprechaun. He's a leprechaun, isn't he? Not a gnome. Get it right, Karen. Yeah, so I've been getting up every morning, and while everybody's still in bed, I've been doing my walking workout. And yes, it has highlighted exactly how unfit I am. But at least I'm doing something about it now, so got to look for the positives. So I'm trying to stick to that. If I do it in the morning first thing while nobody else is up, it's not going to get interfered with, whereas, you know, the rest of the day, whatever I have planned, my routines often just go out the window, and all my plans just go out the window, and I end up doing something else entirely that wasn't planned. So right, so as I said, I think once I'm just grabbing this one because it's the one I did first, so it's the driest. I don't know which one's going to go on which colour. Once that's on there, any wobbly edges I think will blend in, so I think we'll get away with it with my wobbly edges. So I'm going to pop him, I think I'm going to pop him right down at the bottom, and then I'm going to have my letters, as I say, coming off the edge. I need to cover that side of the U up with the C because of the straight edge. No, it does need to go behind. So what do you think? How does that look? Should we go for it? So my leprechaun is just about in the centre there, I think. So if we start, actually I'm going to use this because I can poke it underneath. I'm going to start. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to attach him to the letters first. And then stick the whole thing down. That's what I'm going to do. So does that look about right, do we think? About there. So let's do that first. I've got to remember not to go to the edges of the letters with the glue. Right, now I'm going to glue the rest. I'm just gluing where the gnome is because I know that's not off the edge, and then I will go back, tuck my bottle underneath to do the rest. Just trying to work out where the centre is. I could use my board, couldn't I? That would be novel. So, about there. And it's just a little bit of glue there. A little bit of glue there. A little bit of glue there. Or the U, we can go right up to the top on this side. Okay. Right, so that's that one done. So he will be going on one of these. This all feels dry now, so once I've sorted both the tops out, I'll work out which one looks best on which book. So we've got him on here. Or we could have him on here. Quite like the way that's turned out. Now I need to decide, I don't really need to decide right now, but I do need to decide at some point if he needs a little flower on his hat. Not sure. I might stick him down, and if I think he needs anything extra, do it at that point. Now the what thing I was thinking was, are there any of these bits that I could add on here? They're not really the right shape. I was going to see if I could get, you know, something around there, or I think I'll just leave that as it is for now. I'm going to let that dry. Now let's think about the other one. So this was the size I had. I'm obviously not going to use this one now. that was the size I had, and then I had all these bits that I'd cut out, as I say, from those tags, and I thought, I mean, they could go off the edge as well. I had this behind because it sort of made them pop a bit more. And obviously I would have needed something there. But maybe we don't need that. I'm wondering if no, I'm not sure about this tag at the bottom there, but I could perhaps pop something else there instead. If we pop him on the corner. So if you've been here before, you will know that this little girl looks just like my granddaughter, my eldest granddaughter, and this little boy looks like my youngest grandson. Although my grandson doesn't have hair like that, but his face, his expression just really reminds me of my youngest grandson. Do I want her to come down, or shall I just make a bigger doobry? Let's get one of the covers in so we can have a look at how it looks on here. So it's a bit tricky, isn't it, with the, let's pop that under there, lift it up a bit. So it's a real shame about that gold, because I think that really sets that off, but I don't want to break my machine, and it keeps really getting jammed. When I was sewing the tabs on, it was the top thread that was getting jammed, but when I was doing this, it was the bobbin. How does that look? I need to get rid of these gold threads, they're throwing me. Maybe we don't need that on there. Maybe we could play with this. Obviously these bits are going to need trimming, and she could come down a bit because we could cut the bottom off that. Just grabbing a random flower. To hide those wonky bits. Don't know, I'm gonna have to think about this one, I think. Because that's thrown my plans. Right, so is there anything else I need to do now? I think my next step is sewing these pages in and sticking the insides in the book. So I'll probably go away and do that now. And play with the other topper off camera, and then I'll decide which one is going on which book. Yeah, and then I'll be back to show you what I've done. So what can we pop under here? I'm not sure if you can see both of these, but if you can, let me know whether you think, why don't I just put it in the middle, whether he looks better on there, or, oops, that's a bit tall, whether he looks better on that one. Let me know what you think. So I'll leave you for now. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you found that interesting. As I say, I'll leave all the information about the Beebeecrafts products in the description box below. and I'll be back again, I don't know when, hopefully in another couple of days. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and enjoy your own crafty time. Bye bye.